Right, okay. If I'm doing a large fish, I like to take off the head first. If I'm doing a small fish, I tend to leave the head attached, just because I find it easier, but there's no right or wrong. But if I am going to take the head off, this has already been brought in, it's already been scaled for us and gutted. Okay, and you can take off the fins, it's usually good practice, but with a larger fish, they're so big I can just cut around them. I don't feel it's absolutely necessary. What I'm going to do to remove the head is go behind that fin and go up into the back of the head there, behind this piece of cartilage that separates the head from where the gills are. Okay, so I'm going to flip the fish over and I'm going to do the same side. So I've got the cap where the gills were, and then the bit of cartilage. I'm going to cut up in behind the head, okay, to do that, and then I can take the head off. Okay, to the board, take the head off completely. What I've now got to do is remove the fillets. Now you'll see that the actual backbone is fairly flat there. So I don't just want to go in at an angle with the knife, I want to put the knife in level with the backbone, and I'm lifting this up, but what I'm not doing is bending that double, okay, because if I'm bending that double I'm going to bruise the fish. The first bit's quite difficult to get into, but once you've actually got a start and you're along the backbone, okay, I can get in there, and the pressure I'm using is downward pressure, and I'm going to let the knife take it down the bone. Okay, so I'm going to follow the knife down. I've got my downward pressure onto the spine. I've not got a great angle because I don't want to cut through the spine and cut through the second fillet. Okay, and I'm going to follow the fish all the way down. Notice how my pink fingers are pointing up. Okay, I'm not holding it like that for obvious reasons. Now I can bring my hand over, okay, and I can cut down and out through the bottom. And if I've done it right, what I should have, apart from the first bit where I went in, is a nice clean backbone there. That means I've took off as much as I can off of the fish. So there's my first fillet. Now I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to do the same, but now it's a bit easier because that backbone's sitting flat against the board. So once again, I'm going to lift this side up. A bit tricky to get the knife in to start with, just to get your start. But after that, I'm going to move moving along the backbone of the fish. Okay, and keeping that pressure still down on there to remove the fillet. Okay, and once again I should have a nice clean backbone along there. Now none of this is waste. What we're going to be able to do in a few minutes is get a dessert spoon and scrape all of this fish off of here, and this is absolutely beautiful fish for fish mousses and things like that. Okay, so to trim the fillet, I'm going to move now onto my salmon knife, which is a serrated knife, a bit like a filleting knife, okay, but it's still flexible, but it's got a scalloped blade. Okay, if you've got a filleting knife that's only your normal 6-inch one or whatever, you're not going to be able to skin the fish or do anything with it because it's too small. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come down underneath these little bits of cartilage from under here, okay, and I can instantly trim off this skin. Come straight off. Okay, that bit's, any little trimmings that come off are good for mousse. Now I've got the rib cages to get underneath. So I'm going to put my knife underneath the bones. Although it looks like I'm cutting towards my fingers, there's a layer of bones in between my fingers and there, so I'm not actually going to cut myself. Okay, I'm coming all the way down. I'm angling the knife up ever so slightly against the bottom of the bones. I'm using sweeping actions like you would with a filleting knife, because I want nice, smooth bits. So I've removed the ribs, and this little bit of fat under here, I'm just going to come underneath that as well. But now for my safety, I've moved my hands because there's no bones there protecting that bit. Okay, so just trimming this off, come through, and I can do almost the same. Where that fin is, which is one of the reasons why I've left the fin on, I can see it and I can cut through there to trim these bits off. Follow this bit straight up there. So all of this bit, I'm going to be able to get some salmon off of here for mousse, but I'm not going to use this fatty edge because it's going to be really greasy, and it tends to not very good in not very good in mousses. It can make it split because of the amount of fat in there. So finally, just making sure that I've got all of the ribs out. Okay. If I have scraped along that spine like I have, you might have some little bits of the spine on there, which I can just carefully with the knife go underneath from both sides. Okay. Lift and remove that, because you do not want your customers eating bits of bone. And the final thing I'm going to do, I'm not going to skin these ones because we're going to use these for gravlax, so I'm going to leave the skins on and we're going to cure them. But just by running my finger down the back there, it's very easy on a salmon to see where the pin bones are. And they come out extremely easily, basically because it's an oily fish and it's quite a large fish, so the bones are fairly big. So, pin bones are coming out. Notice that I'm pulling towards the head. The bones go in at an angle like that. If I drag down, then those bones are going to tear into the flesh. So I'm going in the direction of the actual fish flesh, making sure I get these fish bones out of here. Even the ones from the end, don't forget those ones, they'll still get into a customer's throat. And that is how you would fillet a salmon.